What's going on, world? I am your host, Timothy Cuddy Sanders, and I want to thank you for tuning in to another episode of Just Beyond the Spotlight. Today, we are in the offices of one of the most prestigious marketing men in the business, Nick Nelson. So sit back, get your seatbelts on, and take this ride with us, Just Beyond the Spotlight. Let's go. How you doing, man?
How you doing, man? Good to see you, brother.
Good to see you, too.
All right.
So, as the Chief Marketing Officer and the principal of Liquid Soul, how did that whole plan originate?
It originated in 2001, me and my business partner, Terrell Whitley. It actually was his idea in terms of establishing something called Liquid Soul. At the particular point in time, it was Liquid Soul Radio. And he wanted to start an online radio station. This is before XM satellite radio and Pandora and Apple Music. He wanted to do something. We came to Atlanta. We were both working in corporate America. I worked for UPS, he worked for SAP, and we had time on our hands. No kids, newly married, but he had a vision of Liquid Soul. Over the course of the past 15, 16 years, Liquid Soul has transitioned to many different things. So it started off as a radio station. Then it was a media entity, but it never really was media from the perspective that we look at media in terms of, film and television. It was, graphic design, web design. A lot of it was for faith-based entities. And then in 2005, Rainforest Productions, Will Packer and Rob Hardy, they had asked us to market the film The Gospel. We went to school with them, with frat brothers, and they knew that we did marketing. And they came to us with their project called The Gospel. We ultimately fulfilled that obligation. Sony took notice, and really the rest is history. That was the first time we even learned of film and television marketing.
Right. So it was Atlanta-based, but you just started to branch out all over the world.
But we started to branch out. I mean, all it takes is a few defining moments. So I look at the growth of Liquid Soul. The first defining moment really was Terrell even thinking about having an idea of an agency, and then the next defining moment really was that opportunity to work on The Gospel, and then immediately thereafter that check that came along with working for The Gospel. And we didn't even know that film and television studios paid people to do what we were doing, but once we found out that that was an opportunity and that no one else was in the space. And that's the unique thing that at that particular point in time that we wanted to take advantage of, is to be the first. And that's what we leverage today. We like to be innovators in everything that we do. We're proud to say that we're still in business. You have so many different, especially cultural agencies, that just have not been able to survive, especially these past 5 years or so. And we're still here, we're still relevant, and we're still innovating new techniques in terms of marketing, advertising, publicity, social, digital, Universal Pictures, you name it, that we're very proud of. And we always look to do additional opportunities with other major brands.
So in saying that, who are some of the clients that you cater to?
Our agency was built on just a phenomenal client roster, and still is. So we started off with TBS and Turner, and then moved over to work with anyone from Disney to HBO, Warner Brothers Pictures, even on the corporate side, Walmart, General Mills, and others. So anybody from a big brand on the entertainment and television side, we've pretty much worked with them.
What's one of your biggest accomplishments?
Some of the biggest accomplishments that we've had as an agency, we've won numerous awards, including A&A Multicultural Agency of the Year, the American Association of Advertisers. That's a huge accomplishment for us, and we did that with the campaign that we did for the Jackie Robinson story 42, in conjunction with brand partner Walmart. Individually, being recognized as the American Marketing Association's advertising agency marketer of the year.
I remember that.
That was the first time that anybody, and still to this day, within that 50-year history, that a black person, right, man or woman, has ever won that award. So very pleased about that.
So with all the accolades that we just talked about, marketer of the year, and all the things that you do in the community, you are definitely just beyond the spotlight. So in your own words, who is Nick Nelson? Well,
Nick Nelson, first and foremost, is a child of God. My faith is what's driven me and is what's sustained me throughout, my entire life. I'm also a dedicated husband to my wife, Tiffany, father to my son Quinn, entrepreneur. I'm a motivator. I like to see other people win, and I like to try to help them win as much as possible, whether it be through my participation, my networks, my resources, either through other people or financially. I like to learn. I like to experiment. I like to be creative, and I like to leverage all of the talents that I have to not only help myself but to help others.
Right, and still being a work in progress. Who inspires you to be better?
The primary two people that inspire me to be better would have to be my wife and my child. You know, my wife, you know, she continues to challenge me to, you know, be a better person and to grow. And, you know, she doesn't see accolades. She just sees Nick. And, you know, she wants me to be the very best person that I am. And then my son, he challenges me to be the best, you know, person, period, because he's just, you know, a beautiful individual. And at that age, he's 8, you really see the purity of life. But you also see, you know, just the overwhelming responsibility of being, if you're going to be a dad, what that looks like, and making certain that you're being the best role model and that you're teaching and that you're providing and caring as much as possible. But those two, they both keep me grounded and make me a better individual.
Nick, you are a very inspiring brother, I must tell you that, both personally and in business. So I'm dying to know, knowing everything that you know now, what would the current Nick tell the 17-year-old Nick Nelson?
The current Nick would tell the 17-year-old Nick to stop swatting at flies. And when I say stop swatting at flies, it's sometimes when you're driving, you know, down the street, and just imagine you're going and a fly gets in the car. Sometimes you can be so distracted by that fly and you're swatting it everywhere that you lose focus on the road. And so you're spending more time focusing on that fly than you are in what's ahead in front of you. And that 17-year-old was swatting at everything, you know, girls, the party, you know, school a little bit, you know, but I wasn't focused in terms of the road. And, you know, the more you experience and the more life you get, life experience you get under your belt, I think, at least I've realized that I can't be swatting at everything, that I have limited time, limited energy, you know, even a limited attention span, you know, in terms of what it is that I can actually focus on. So I don't text and drive. I just drive now. Just keep my head focused, man. Keep my head focused. Hey, this is Nick Nelson, and you just took a journey with me just beyond the spotlight.